She offered me some lace and she told me it would take me places. Now I can feel my face and I'm pretty sure she left some traces. Some good, some bad, doesn't matter if it feels amazing. Grab me by the waist, now she wanna tell me something crazy. 4 days, 4 nights, I'm losing track of time and I wonder who am I. 4 eyes, yours, mine, and I wonder who you might be till you open up your mouth and say, no curves, no nothing. What you see when you look at the horizon? No earth, just flat. No black holes, planets, none of that. No curves, no nothing. What you see when you look at the horizon? No earth, just flat. No black holes, planets, none of that. She opened up her mind, but I realized she would never change it. Been with her for hours and it's starting to be really draining. My God, oh man, I remember when it felt amazing. At least she didn't lie when she told me she had something crazy. 4 days, 4 nights, I'm losing track of time, and I wonder who am I. 4 eyes, yours, mine, and I wonder who you might be till you open up your mouth. 4 days, 4 nights, I'm losing track of time, and I wonder who am I. Yeah, 4 eyes, yours, mine, and I wonder who you might be till you open up your mouth and say, no curves, no nothing. What you see when you look at the horizon? No earth, just flat. No black holes, planets, none of that. No curves, no nothing. What you see when you look at the horizon? No earth, just flat. No black holes, planets, none of that. what can I say? You are every man's dream, finest woman that I've seen. Take your time down the line, deeper vibes, ain't no crime. I just wanna love you, baby. Spread a little kiss in the night. Help me get my mojo back, honey. We both know I've been stuck. I just wanna love you, baby. Spread a little kiss in the night. Help me get my mojo back, honey. We both know I've been stuck. How's it looking? Am I on your radar still? Do you get goosebumps when we play you and me? Nah, don't take it easy. You are every man's dream, finest woman that I've seen. Take your time down the line, deeper vibes, ain't no crime. I just wanna love you, baby. Spread a little kiss in the night. Help me get my mojo back, honey. We both know I've been stuck. I just wanna love you, baby. Spread a little kiss in the night. Help me get my mojo back, honey. We both know I've been stuck.
All right, good morning. Let me turn this funk down. It's Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. How you doing? Where well, at least I start with some funky music. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah, it looks like I'm on. Okay, I'm not pulling a Ricada, or at least I'm not pulling a me, I should say. Anyway, got my coffee, got some articles up. I haven't tweeted it out though, but I'll get there. I didn't do a note. I've just been here all this time and haven't even put out any notifications. Anyway, I want to ask you a question. The title of this stream should have been, has Biden started to lose the media? You cannot hear me. What? You can hear me just fine. Stop it. Anyway, you're answering the question I did not hear. Thank you. I appreciate that. At least you're answering my questions. You tend to answer what I ask, but the music's kind of loud. Anyway, I am wondering if Joe Biden is losing the media, or is it all part of an elaborate plan that I've spelled out in November of 2020. But that's not the only news we're going to talk about. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about because it's Friday. We got to get in before the weekend. not getting everything in before the weekend. I'll explain why I'm not talking about a couple items, and then we'll move on. Anyway, I hope you all have some good plans the weekend. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. This show is about to kick off, but I got to enjoy the funk for a second. And by the way, it is the countdown to episode 1,000. If I'm not going to have 10,000 subscribers by episode 1,000, let's see if we can get 1,000 people to join us watching the show. All right, am I doing a weekend show? That's a good question. Lady Boomer is actually doing better, and she's actually gets to go back to work next week, but we'll see. Anyway, Johnny, let's play that intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Night.
All right. Thank you, the lovely Alyssa. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel, where we talk about things that are happening in the world, news, politics, social commentary, culture, you name it. Whatever's happening, I usually talk about it. Except, one thing I left out on that list was drama. YouTube drama. Now, I occasionally talk about YouTube drama. And, but this, I don't know if this whole, I've even listened to this thing between Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire. I don't know if it counts as YouTube drama. It's just, it's a weird in public contract negotiation, or non-negotiation, because Crowder's already turned down the contract that he was offered. But I'm learning more and more as I see the two entities talk and some of their what do you call them? Their underlings. At least one of the underlings was on Tim Pool last night, and what I'm figuring out is that they just have two different philosophies. People are making a big deal out of this thing, and I think maybe both have some points, but I think that Crowder just has a different direction he wants to go, and I think that the only reason this really became public between the two of them is because the Daily Wire decided to respond, because Crowder wasn't going to say, at least it didn't seem like he was going to say, who he was negotiating with. So this whole public, I'm going to learn more before I take a side. There's no sides to take. You just have either one philosophy or the other. Now, I personally understand Crowder, but it's just, but the people who it's not Crowder and the Daily Wire that I'm laughing about. More is I'm about Candace Owens last night, and so anyway, that's it. I'm not talking about that today. I see John Smith looking at me going, "Oh no, not more of this." Well, we're not doing this today. No, we're not. So anyway, let me. I got to tweet out the show. I didn't do that. There we go. Thanks to those of you who already did. I'm failing in that department. I got to start putting the tweet out like a lot earlier. So anyway, I do want to talk about the President Joseph Rahim Biden, because I like to talk about him. And let's see, there we go. There, now I got it out on locals. Maybe. What happened? My cut and paste didn't work. Tweet. Okay. The hell. Well, here, we'll just do this. I'll just cut, or copy, not cut, and paste. Yes! I did an internet. I'm happy. 'Cause I'm happy to come along and make you feel like a room without a roof. Okay, let's say good morning, everybody, and get into this. Should I put some funk on while I'm doing this? It's awfully quiet in here. Let's put some funk on. Yeah. Let's say good morning to the troops in the chat, both on Rumble and on YouTube. By the way, if you're not subscribed on Rumble, why aren't you? Now, I get it. Some people don't spend a lot of time on Rumble. That's okay. But that's my backup. Rumble and Odyssey, although I don't do the show on Odyssey yet. Those are my backup channels. But the best place to figure out where to find me if you don't see me on YouTube is get on Locals and subscribe to me there, or at least follow me there. You don't have to be a supporter. It helps if you're a supporter. If you do want to be a supporter on Locals, then I don't have to worry about other things. But yeah, so start there. Anyway, first over in Rumble today. Uh-oh, what the hell did I do here? Is Mr. Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell. That bell's awfully quiet. What the hell's going on here? Turn that thing up. Well, that's pretty lame. What the hell? Hang on a second. That should be a lot louder. Let's try this. Find out where this cord goes. This cord goes there. That's right there. I'm gonna turn that up. Is this the right one? 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this works. Whatever. Anyway, thank you, Avocados Diablo, for being over there first. Also, Jimmy Das Hotep is here. Mike Savage, Blarg. And is that at Chicago Mike all over on Rumble. Now, I think some of you are doing double duty, which is fine. You can do double duty. You can double dip if you want. First over on YouTube is Avocados Diablo, who gets the bell over there too. Also, good morning to Maddie, who's in the house. Good morning, Tyrannus Alexandrius Tremerich, a.k.a. Ty Alexander. Trippy Liberty's in the house. Good morning, Septus Wolf. Uh-oh. Why was this? What the hell happened here? Oh, morning sucks. They should be dissolved in acid. I wonder if can I restore that? I can't. Anyway, well, sorry, Septus Wolf. You were here too. Also, good morning to, and you're still here, looks like. That's good. Why is this not going away? There we go. Also, good morning to Rockhopper, a friend from down under. Dan USA Ano. Hello to you too. Good morning, James Colley. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Mike Savage here's Blarg. Somnambul Nations here. Also, good morning to Rick Ashbringer. What up? Good morning, HP Lovecraft. Who else? Attack Alpacas here. Shady Grid, what's up? Nice to see you. And Aaron Meredith, John Smith, say hi to Elizabeth for me. Good morning, Asian Research Directorate. And, oh, that music ended. There we go. Keep that music going. Yeah, I want to hear it. Am I missing anybody yet? I see Chicago Mike, Rotten Corpse, and Tyler F. I think that's everybody. If I miss you, don't worry. I'll catch up. I just want y'all to have a good day. I want y'all to have a good weekend. Hope you got something fun planned. Our plan is we've been doing, well, Lady Boomer, now that she's starting to feel better, she's going to go back to work on Monday. She's been doing some early spring cleaning. Our house it's just clean and so fresh. It's wonderful. Anyway, all right. So, shall we talk about some news? Or at least, I do have some headlines before I get into my little spiel on Mr. Joseph Rahim Biden. Let's stop that music, okay? Yeah, let's stop. Yeah, thank you. All right, there we go. All right, so let's talk about a few headlines. Now, as I go onto Twitter, I always get nervous when I see an artist that I like trending on Twitter. Because, you always get that, oh my God, did they die? Especially someone, like that I know from my childhood, okay? And so this morning, one of my favorite artists, and I really didn't start, wait a minute. Sorry, Gunfox61, I see that you're here too. And Gunfox61 dropped a Hamilton in the tip jar. Thank you, sir. And Gunfox61, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a link in the old Streamlabs. By the way, if you want to sponsor the show, you guys, you are you are the sponsor of this show. This is how I make this show work and make it, do whatever. And so people who can sponsor the show at pdognight.live or YouTube Super Chats or Cash App and Venmo in the description, that helps a lot. But also it helps when you share the stream. In fact, if you could just take a second to share the stream right now somewhere, anywhere that, if you have any kind of social media following or whatever, or just email to your friend who says, hey man, you should check this show out once in a while. And then also hit the like button on both YouTube and Rumble. Now Rumble got rid of the plussy. I kind of, used to enjoy, saying, pop that plussy or, pound that plussy or whatever you do to that plussy, but the plussy's gone and now it's just a thumb up. And so, just make sure you thumb up the show and we'll be good. But anyway, thank you, Advocates Diablo, for dropping it as being the first sponsor today. And you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. And he dropped a link here. Am I scared of this link? I'm just going to check. Oh, you know what? We talked about this the other day, but I'll mention it again because I don't think I got into it too deep. I'll put it in the preview news. Let's put it up here. All right, let's get into some headlines and things that are happening. I was talking about when stars that you were from your childhood, and this guy, was really kind of even before my childhood, but you'd still heard him because my mom liked to listen to him. And he still had a TV show when I was really little. I know this. He was still on TV a lot. Mr. Tom Jones is trending today, and I was hoping it wasn't because he's dead, but it's not. I think, it didn't really. I don't know why he's trending, but a few weeks ago, Rolling Stone put out a article, a feature in their magazine / website that was talking about the top 200 singers of all time, right? And the list was kind of jacked. It was mostly just people a lot of it's people you heard of, and a lot of it they threw in a bunch of certain various ethnic people that they kind of threw in. It just seemed to throw in that I hadn't heard of, who might have been great singers, I'd never heard of. But a couple of weird things they did. One, they had Michael Jackson at something like number 82. Okay, which is fine. I don't think Michael Jackson's a great entertainer. Is he the greatest singer? Maybe he's a good singer. I don't know. In the top 200 of all time, I don't know. But they had Bob Dylan at number 15. Now, remember, this is not the greatest artists, greatest songwriters, greatest poets. This was the top 200 singers of all time. And I was like, Bob Dylan? Bob Dylan couldn't... Look, like someone said the last time I talked about this. Good morning, Nomad, by the way.
Stop. Hammer time.
It's like someone said, last time I talked about this, they said, if Bob Dylan and I were in a room, he still wouldn't be in the top people that's in the room singing. So that's terrible. So anyway, and the person that I thought who should have been on the list that wasn't was Mr. Tom Jones. Mr. Tom Jones could sing his ass off in a lot of different versions. And so I was like, how do you not put Tom Jones on here? So anyway, Tom Jones is trending. It doesn't say why, but Tom Jones is 82 years old, right? And I don't even know if I probably get in trouble for this, but I don't care. They had, let's see, I'm just going to give you a sample. Let's see, is Tom Jones singing this one?
When you're all alone.
So this is Tom Jones singing at 82 years old.
And there's nothing but the smell of her perfume. Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel
Okay,
like crying?
so that's his one. I'm just to give you little snippets, right? That's him at 82 years old. Still, that voice is so strong still, right? But I'll give you another example. Here's Tom Jones jamming out with Janis Joplin back in the day. Okay, listen to this.
You know I'm standing above
Now, this is live, too. This is not him singing on some record. This is him singing live with Janis Joplin. Hello, Brad Young. Hello, Tex AG 007. Hello, Reaction Puerto Rico. Hello, Scribe Light. All right, so anyway, just a couple examples. And hello, H.P. Lovecraft was here already. Scribe! Dog Thrapple. And then I'll just do one more. Here's him. Here's Tom Jones and Wilson Pickett. Now, you'd think, Tom Jones, Wilson Pickett is also one of the greatest singers of all times. Here he is with Wilson Pickett. They're singing Hey Jude, I think.
Then you can start to make it better. Hey Jude, sing a song, son. Don't be afraid. You were made to go out and get her. Yeah. But the minute you let under your skin.
I mean, this is a white boy with some soul. I'm just saying.
To make it feel a whole lot better. Now look here.
So anyway, I'm gonna leave a tab here, on this Twitter tab, and there's a whole bunch of examples of Tom Jones singing, and I'm just gonna suggest to you that you, after this show, go check out this tab and listen to Tom Jones for a little bit today. I don't know why he's trending. It still didn't say why he's trending. I don't think it's not his birthday one. He was already 82. I see one. What is going on here? It doesn't say why. Oh, by the way, one of the things I was going to tell you is David Crosby passed away. David Crosby, Stillman, Nash, and Young, and all that. However, in the Yardbirds and all these other places. Wasn't he in the Yardbirds? No, I don't know if he's in the Yardbirds. But anyway, singer-songwriter, guitarist David Crosby, founding member of two popular, enormously influential 60 rock units. Oh, the Byrds, not the Yardbirds, the Byrds. He passed away at 81 years old. Now, he had some really left-wing politics, crazy, but I don't care. He's a great artist. Oh my God, his son was named Django, like Django Unchained. That's weird. Anyway, his wife released a statement to Variety saying, "It is with great sadness after a long illness that our beloved David Crosby has passed away. He was lovingly surrounded by his wife and his soulmate, Jan, and son Django. Although he's no longer here with us, his humanity and kind soul will continue to guide and inspire us. His legacy will continue to live on through his legendary music. Peace, love, and harmony to all who knew David and those who he touched." So anyway, yeah, he was with the Byrds, and also then he started Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young with the Stephen Stills, Graham Nash, and on and off Neil Young. So anyway, and that just brings me back to, there's also a clip here of Tom Jones singing with I don't know if he's with David Crosby, why he's here with David Crosby, but this is Tom Jones. There's Neil Young. But again, there's David Crosby right there. He's gone. All right, we're gonna go there. All right, what's that? Who has donation? I know. Okay. So anyway, Tom Jones, rest in peace, David Crosby. Real quick, thank you, Chicago Mike responds to the show, dropping a big bullet in the tip jar. Chicago Mike says, let me put some music to this one because it's Funky Friday, so we try to put some music to the tips. That's what I didn't do. Today's show is sponsored by the new drama starring Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder called The Old and the Boring. If you want boring drama, then watch The Old and the Boring, starring two people that are not that old. Okay, thank you, Chicago Mike, for your generous donation. Stop the music. Okay, thank you, sir, for sponsoring the show. What's funny, though, is the negotiations between the Daily Wire and Crowder are not with Ben Shapiro. A lot of people like to say Ben Shapiro, but it's actually with, is it Jeremy Boring? Is that his name? Baring, but I don't know what the hell his name is. Jeremy something. He's the guy who's doing the negotiating. Who founded the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro. But it seems like Jeremy is the money man, because I just get that feeling. I got a feeling. I just saw, didn't I? Who's the dude from Black Eyed Peas that does the voice in England? Whatever that dude's name is. Anyway, so should we talk about some news day? Good morning, Cool Frog. I see you in the chat. What's up? Brad Young, I said hi. I think I caught everybody. Am I catching everybody here? All right. Are you tired of me just babbling away? Because I can babble for a while too. All right, let's move on. Oh, shoot. I still got this on the screen. What the hell am I doing? All right, let's talk about some just headlines. Now this one, okay. Let me just give me a second here. I need to brace myself for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, in the New York Post yesterday, this article came out, and I disavow people should drink less coffee to combat climate change, a study says. I can tell you where to stick that study. Oh, and, okay, my beloved Canadians in the chat, I'm not going to blame you for this, but this shit was written by a damn Canadian. Canadian researchers analyzed coffee's contribution to climate change. Yes, coffee and its contribution to climate change. And suggested that people moderate their consumption of the popular drink as a part of the solution. Now. Y'all some crazy motherfuckers. Yes, you are. Thank you, Gunfox, for another small bullet in the tip jar. And you are still the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor today, dropping another article on me, which I'll get into which will make it into the beginning of the show here, if I approve. What is this one? Oh, God, come on. Stop it. You're killing me, Gunfox. Okay. Canadian researchers analyzed coffee's contribution to climate change. And in a piece published early in January, it suggested that people moderate their consumption of the popular drink as a part of the solution. Blow me. Researcher Luciano Rodriguez Viana, Charles Marty, you bring disgrace to the name Marty, Jean-Francois Boucher, and Pierre-Luc Desaralt wrote in an analysis published in The Conversation that pollution from preparing coffee was just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, so if the maybe 1/9 of the planet that drinks coffee on a regular basis just stops drinking coffee, it's not even 1/9. I bet it's less than that. It just stops drinking coffee. You can solve climate change. I got one word for you, gentlemen. Blow me. Limiting your contribution to climate change requires an adapted diet, and coffee is no exception. Choosing a mode of coffee preparation that emits less CHGs, i.e. greenhouse gases. Wait a minute. How the hell does preparing coffee emit greenhouse gases? No, I know it was 2 words. That's the funny part, Somnable Nation. That's funny that I said 2 words when I said I have 1 word for you. For them, those guys. Wait a minute. So, a mode of coffee preparation that emits less greenhouse gases and moderating your consumption are part of the solution. The study also found that using coffee pods to brew coffee contributed less to the carbon footprint than brewing coffee with a traditional filter. Now that's interesting because I use a Keurig and a reusable, pod, right? Okay, so I brew 1 cup at a time, right? And so maybe I'm contributing less to greenhouse gases by the way I prepare my coffee. But it still uses electricity. These motherfuckers, they're pissing me off. Our analysis clearly showed that traditional filter coffee has the highest carbon footprint, mainly because a greater quantity of coffee powder is used to produce the amount of coffee. This process also consumes more electricity to heat up the water and keep it warm, the researchers wrote. Do you know how minuscule? Let's say half of the United States decided to change how they brewed coffee so they do not contribute to greenhouse gases that contribute to the vast and dangerous crisis of global warming that we have going on right now. Do you know how little that would do? I'm excuse me. Hello, Spud Gun. Hello, Eddie Haskell. And let me I'm going to get through some of these before I move on. Thank you, Chicago Mike, dropping a deuce in the tip jar. I think that's so funny to say. I don't know why. Thanks for dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Who says, oh, I should have music. Go to hell, study against coffee. Yes, Chicago Mike, you are spot on. Also, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, dropping a big bullet in the tip jar saying, drink less coffee and eat Lucky Charms instead of meat. Anytime I see researchers, I just tune them out, and that is sad. Researchers equals propaganda. You are spot on. And thank you, Maddie, for dropping a big Lincoln in the tip jar saying, thou shalt not speak ill of the holy brew. Coffee is sacred. This article is blasphemous. Yes, it is. They can all go straight to hell. Thank you, Maddie. And there you go. All right, let's stop that music. Good. Okay, let's move on. Next on the list, let's see. What's this? Oh, I got a couple Gunfox articles. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is gonna hurt. I can feel it. This one we kind of talked about, I think, already. There's a policy that they're proposing in Pennsylvania where schools could hide a student's gender identity from parents under a proposed Pennsylvania school district policy. Now, we're going through this same crap in our lovely state of Minnesota, but this is Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania parents are outraged over a proposed public school district policy that would, among other things, keep them in the dark regarding their child's gender identity. In fact, one of the school districts the school district in a suburb right next to my suburb has already done this, and there's parents just fucking pissed. I'm just telling you. Hello, Simon Wolfwood over on Rumble, by the way. All right. What the hell did I just do? There we go. A first reading of the Upper Moreland School District's proposed, quote, transgender and gender diverse students, end quote, policy sparked tension among school board members and the community Tuesday night. Some parents seemingly accused the board of failing to properly communicate what the policy was on the table. The proposal, which begins with defining the number of gender identity terminologies. Oh, you mean 2? I'm just, you know what I mean. Would alter several current UMSD procedures. If passed, students will be permitted to use the school restrooms and locker rooms which align with their gender identity as opposed to sex. Additionally, teachers will be mandated not only to use a student's preferred pronouns, but also conceal them. So they're going to use them and conceal them at the same time. Quote, all persons, including students, have a right to privacy. This includes keeping a student's actual or perceived gender identity and expression private. The policy reads, therefore, school personnel shall not disclose information about TGD, which is transgender and gender diverse, students' gender identity and expression to others, including the students' parents and guardians and or other school personnel. Well, how the living F are you going to address them if you're going to be hiding them? I don't understand. But then hiding it from their parents, you can kiss my whole ass. I'm just saying. Okay. Hello. Oh, no, just said. All right. And then it says, let's see. I didn't include unless legally required to do so, or unless the school has authorized such disclosure or explicitly disclosed their gender identity in the school setting. The proposal does grant school personnel permission to encourage students to confide in their parents regarding their gender identity. Oh, how generous of you. You will encourage students to confide in their parents, but you do not have to tell their parents. Oh, that's just lovely. Again, you can kiss my whole ass. Keeping parents in the dark about a child's gender confusion is deceptive, dangerous, and violates the 14th Amendment right, which protects the fundamental right of parents to direct the care, upbringing, and education of their children, another mother said. Spot on. Others chose to focus on restroom and locker room accessibility by pointing to previous sexual assault cases within USMSD, while raising concerns that cisgendered students, also known as students, may abuse the policy. They pleaded with the board to search for another solution. Quote, why can't you have a single-stall bathroom that isn't labeled and let whoever wants to use it? The mother asked. It's not segregation if it isn't labeled, but allow anyone in any bathroom is not acceptable. My child and I don't feel comfortable with the choices you are about to make. But, the school don't give a shit what the parents or the students who don't agree with the policy do. So there you go. That's what happened in the local suburb next to mine. And I don't get it. Here's the problem. If schools are going to have these policies, okay, not that I like the policies, but I do not like the idea that they would hide anything from parents. See, you're here because parents are allowing their kids to come to your dumbass school. And so, look, you're not their parents. We're their parents. Well, mine are out of school. Thank God. But I'm sorry. Parents, they're not your kids, you dumb assholes. They are, and so your indoctrination into certain things that maybe, just maybe, that the parents are not happy with, sorry, you should have to disclose everything about your child to the parents, unless, here's the only exception I would say. If a child confides in a teacher or a school counselor because they're being physically abused at home, that I can see you not talking to the parents about, maybe talk to authorities about, but it should be reported to authorities, not be handled just through the schools. But that's different. That is not the same as changing a kid's... calling a kid by a different name or saying that they're a different gender school or giving them a magic closet where they can go change clothes and live their true self while the teacher's just some virtue signaling, trying to make like they're good, doing something really great. Why aren't teachers held liable if their students break the law or hurt someone? Maybe teachers should get sued now and not the parents. Well, that's yeah. I am not disagreeing with that. All right, and that was Gunfox Head Exploder, and he's also given me another one. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we did this one yesterday. See, you missed this, but that's okay. I'm going to go through this one because I want you to see this again. European official predicts U.S. could soon have illegal hate speech laws. We saw this clip yesterday. European Union officials' prediction that the United States would soon institute illegal hate speech laws at Davos disinformation panel with Brian Stelter on Tuesday raised some eyebrows online. Vera Jourova, the vice president for values and transparency at the EU's Executive European Commission, indicated that to a fellow panelist at the World Economic Forum that such policies were about to cross the ocean. Yeah, another whole ass kissing kind of thing that should go on. Here's what she said. How long is this clip? Yeah, this is about right. Listen to this. I showed
it. Become rank partisans.
Oh, this is...
And of course, committed globalists. So how is it that...
Okay, that's not the clip. That's the wrong clip. Let's try... Did they have the right clip? Anyway, so she insinuated that the United States was going to start having hate speech policies like they have in Europe. And I'm not buying it. So this is what this woman looks like, sitting here with Brian Stelter. Look at this grin on Brian Stelter's face. He looks like the candy van. He looks like the guy in the candy van. Someone made that joke on Lord of the Night, or maybe it was on Ranting Monkey Show. Look at this. Look at his face. Look at that smile. Look at that. He's frightening. So anyway, let's see. Here's what she said. Oh, no. What qualifies as hate speech, as illegal hate speech, which you will soon have soon in the U.S. Illegal hate speech. They're gonna because you know what I think she did. Here's what I think she saw. She must have saw that bill by what's her name? Dang it! Now I'm blanking out. The congresswoman from Houston, congresswoman. I can't remember her name. But anyway, that they're talking about how if you wrote some speech about some white supremacy and someone else commits a crime that could have possibly even read your article, then you would be also have felony criminal act, right? Sheila Jackson Lee, right? Thank you, Avocados Diabli. Maybe she saw that bill and thought, "Oh, that sounds really good. They should pass that," and I think they will because the United States wants to be more like Europe. But Stelter was criticized by some figures online for not pushing back against Jourova. One conservative called her a petty fascist. Well, that's perfect. Conservative outlet The First also took a dig at Moulton for silently smiling as she made the remarks. If you're wondering, the spineless American who silently smiles as she says, "This is Democratic Seth Moulton." So anyway, now she's Czech-born. Oh, okay, she's from Czechoslovakia, or formerly the Czechoslovakia, whatever. Let's see, anything here? Yeah, they don't have the clip. Anyway, Gun Fox, I got to tell you, right here. Same page. I got you. I got you. We did these a couple days ago. All right, let's go to some other news. Alec Baldwin apparently is going to be charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of Halna Hutchins, facing up to 18 months in prison. Alec Baldwin was charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the death of Halna Hutchins. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armor on the film Rust, was also charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Alec Baldwin's attorney called the charges a terrible miscarriage of justice in a statement to Fox News Digital. This decision distorts Halna Hutchins' tragic death and represents a terrible miscarriage of justice. Luke Nikas of Quinn Emanuel said Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live bullet in the gun or anywhere on the movie set. He relied on the professionals with whom he worked. Oh, throw the professionals with whom he worked under the bus, who assured him the gun did not have live rounds. We will fight these charges and we will win. Look, in some ways, I agree with that. And even though I despise Alec Baldwin, I could see if they're saying involuntary manslaughter, it would seem that the prop person who put live bullets in a gun would probably be the one most liable. Clearly the money is in with Alec Baldwin and the producers of the movie, which I don't think they could probably get a wrongful death suit if that were the case, down the road. But this is the criminal case, and I have a feeling that anywhere they tried this in California, I would imagine that Alec Baldwin probably, even though letter of the law, he's guilty, will a jury convict him? No. Yes, thank you. Exactly, Avocados Diabli. That's exactly right. I don't think a jury will convict him. Now, will they convict the prop handler who's also being charged with 2 counts? That probably is a lot more likely. So anyway, that's the Fox News version. I was going to check out also Variety put, here it is. Variety has a version of this article, and I'm curious if they editorialize it all. So I wanted to look at it real quick. But looks, oh, no, this is just strictly a factual article, it looks like. But they have some more information. The 42-year-old Hutchins died after a gun Baldwin was holding for rehearsal fired a live round of ammunition into her chest. Okay. So the gun fired itself, according to Variety. Do you hear that sentence? The 42-year-old Hutchins died after a gun Baldwin was holding for a rehearsal fired a live round of ammunition into her chest, passing through and striking writer-director Joel Souza in the shoulder. The gun did it by itself. Well, maybe they should charge the gun with involuntary manslaughter. I'm just saying, the way that's written. David Hawes, who was cited in the sheriff's report as the person who handed the weapon to Baldwin and announced to the crew it was a cold gun, signed a plea bargain with the DA for the charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon, accepting a suspended sentence and 6 months probation. So they already let him off. The DA appointed special prosecutor Andrea Reeb to oversee the case. If any of these three people, Alec Baldwin, Hannah Gutierrez, or David Halls, had done their job, Hannah Hutchins would be alive today. It's that simple, Reed said in a statement. The evidence clearly shows a pattern of criminal disregard for safety on the Rust film set. In New Mexico, there is no room for film sets that don't take the state's commitment to gun safety and public safety seriously. So the DA is ready to kick them all in their asses. So, but the one person has already pled and got probation. Interesting. And then they have Baldwin's attorney statement, just like in the last article. So that's interesting. Like I already said, it's not likely he'll be convicted, but I would not be shocked if they got it. They're going to convict somebody. Probably won't be Alec Baldwin. All right, next. Antifa is at it again. Now this was Andy No in what is it, Post Millennial, put out this article. I have two articles about this because this is interesting. Something happening in Atlanta. So 7 are charged with domestic terrorism following a deadly shooting in an Atlanta autonomous zone. Now we've been hearing a lot about insurrections. But this is interesting. 7 militants have been arrested and charged with domestic terrorism following a deadly shootout with law enforcement at their autonomous zone in a wooded area south of Atlanta. They are all from out of state. On Wednesday morning, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and other law enforcement agencies conducted a raid on the so-called autonomous zone. Now, here's the site of the future Atlanta Public Safety Training Center. So they're occupying some land where they're going to build a place where police officers train. Since June 2021, Antifa and far-left extremists from across the United States have occupied the area to prevent the construction of what they call a cop city. The GBI says Georgia State Patrol trooper was shot. A trooper was shot and severely injured during Wednesday's raid by a man camped in the area. Officers returned fire and killed the gunman, who allegedly used a pistol. Now, there's a lot more to this story, but here's what Antifa's response is to this. So they occupied a place where they were building a training facility for police officers because they're protesting this. They got in a shootout with the cop, and one of the cops got shot, and they returned. The cops obviously ended up shooting the guy, and unfortunately the guy died instead of going to trial, which I'd much rather these fuckers go to trial and end up in a prison, surrounded by people who they really didn't want to be around in the first place. But now the Antifa people are calling for vengeance, not just in Atlanta, but several cities. So here it is. Breaking. Far-left groups are calling for deadly vengeance against police as payback for one of their comrades getting shot dead near the Atlanta Autonomous Zone. They link to their list the Georgia DPS officers and other cops they want to be murdered. And here's the tweets. Or here's the screenshots of what they were doing as soon as this pops up here. So, and this is a straight up call for violence. It's apparently this is on Twitter. Call for retaliation. Consider this a call for reciprocal violence to be done to the police and their allies. On Friday, January 20th, that would be today, wherever you are, you're invited to participate in a night of rage in order to honor the memory of our fallen comrades. This is, I'm pretty sure this is probably against the terms of service of Twitter. I'm assuming these have been taken down by now. And then here, are you wondering what you can do about the forest defender that was martyred today? Oh, you mean the one who had a shootout with police and got clipped? Please consider the following resources. And then they list names of the people. They list names. They put out a target list. And then pictures of all the cops. But it's not just in Atlanta. Also, Pittsburgh Antifa is calling for violence against police. And what are the comments? For what happened in Atlanta. And there's just the screenshots here. And so now they're calling to do this apparently nationwide. Craig Toners, who runs something, this guy, he runs OLAASM, whatever that is. Oh, it's okay, I don't know. Raises money on Patreon and is directing comrades to call for deadly violence against police in all sorts of places. So this is not cool. Okay, here's the article on PJ Media. Antifa forces lay siege to Georgia County in battle against Cop City. The city of Atlanta was preparing to tear down a forested area in DeKalb County, Georgia, to build a new public safety training center. However, an Antifa group is camped out in the woodland area, making it difficult for the city to clear land and make progress on the facility. The left has dubbed the project Cop City, akin to calling Florida's parental rights and education bill Don't Say Gay. And earlier this month, a judge denied an injunction by protesters using environmental issues as a pretext to stop the construction of the facility. Members of the group even refer to themselves as forest creatures and identify themselves as different animals. So they're fucking lunatics. It was a matter of time before the Antifa action would erupt in violence. On Wednesday morning, law enforcement was conducting a clearing operation when a state trooper got involved in a shooting match with protesters. The trooper was wounded, but one Antifa member was killed. An individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper. Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Michael Register told reporters. Other law enforcement personnel returned fire in self-defense and evacuated the trooper to a safe area. The individual who fired upon law enforcement and shot the trooper was killed in the exchange of gunfire. So now these assholes are going to hold a day of rage today. So get ready to watch the news this evening or later today, and because they're calling for violence. And there's a Fox News article about them calling for violence also. But not just in Atlanta. They're fixing to do it in other cities. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the news today. Anyway, so that's that. All right, shall we talk about Joseph Rahim Biden and this little document scandal that seems to like the news people are starting to pay attention to. And it's kind of weird because for so long, the news people have been, well, I would say covering for the president of the United States, which, I can understand the loyalty to the highest office in the land, patriotic duty of the news people to at least try to be, oh, wait a minute. They didn't do that with the guy with the funny hair, so fuck this guy too. So anyway, now, first of all, Biden has issued a statement, okay? He's issued a statement about the document scandal. They caught him in a little thing here. Now listen to this. I'll put up the tweet because I'll get a better video here. And here's Joe Biden explaining, or at least his statement on the document scandal. Now it's interesting how this. Here, hang on a second here. Come on, let's work. Okay. All right, let's put this full screen so you can see it. Here's Joe Biden being asked a question about the document scandal. He's in California right now, by the way, surveying some of the damage from all the water, rain, snow, whatever. And there he is with Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom looking all presidential and ready to run in case Joe Biden doesn't run in 24. That's another story.
We owe more than I could take time to talk about today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so
I will answer the question.
She's asking the question about the documents. You can't hear the question, but here's Joe Biden answering the question. Now, notice right off the bat, you'll notice right away something about this. She asks the question about the documents, and Joe just happens to have some notes in front of him.
But here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
You know, quite frankly,
in fact, look at that. He opened it up. It's right on the first page. He didn't even have to flip a page. He knew this question was coming, and somebody wrote a legalese statement for him.
What bugs me is that we have a serious problem here. We're talking about what's going on, and
now he's killing time because he's having to unfold his statement. Do you see that? Here, I'm going to go back just a little bit. How he kills time here.
Serious problem here. We're talking about
problem.
What's going on, and the American people don't quite understand why you don't ask me questions about that. But having said that,
well, you don't think the president of the United States having documents hidden in next to his Corvette in an unsecured garage and maybe a closet that your lawyers found just in a closet, not a locked closet, just a closet in your old office, and then in a room behind the garage they found it in documents. I bet these aren't the only documents they found, by the way.
What's your question?
So he said, do you ever regret at all not revealing the fact that they found these documents back in November before the midterm elections? Well, of course not, because if I'd have done that, it might have hurt some candidates that I'm talking about, and maybe, Mar-a-Lago. Yes, Mar-a-Lago. That's not his answer. Here's his real answer.
Hang on, okay? Look.
Hang on, because I got to...
We found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong.
He's reading it off his sheet of paper. He can't answer the question. He's just going to read it straight off a piece of paper, but he said failed, but not filed, but then he changed to filed because he's reading it off a piece of paper.
Wrong place. We immediately turned them over to the archives of the Justice Department.
Oh, we immediately turned them over. Oh, we're fully cooperating. This sounds like the media talking points, doesn't it? But it's funny. The reporter who asked this question is not one of the mean guys, mean girls. Any guys that it's not that nasty Peter Ducey or someone from OAN. This is the other reporters are starting to ask questions about this. They're not having. Yeah, immediately after they realized they had the documents. 6 years later, Advocatus Diaboli. Come on, they didn't. 6 years when they put him in there, they didn't. He didn't know. He didn't find out. He found out about it from the newspaper. He read about it in the New York Times that, there were documents in my garage. There were documents in my closet. I didn't know that. They didn't tell me. I'm just the guy. I'm the front man. I'm the Manchurian guy,
Quickly, I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets. I'm following what
no regrets.
Lawyers have told me they want me to do.
I'm doing what they tell me to do. They're going to do what they told you. You're going to do what they told you. They're not going to do what they told you. They're going to do what they told you. Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. Fuck. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a little rage in there.
What we're doing, there's no there. Thank you.
There's no there. That sounds like, oh my God. Did that sound Clinton-esque? He pulled out a Bill Clinton on your ass. Anyway, now what's interesting, and I'm starting to notice, the reporters are getting a little antsy about this issue, and I'm just wondering if this is all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan, right? So then, now the reason I asked the question today, has the media turned on Joe Biden? Because now we're starting to see they're starting to actually report some information that they weren't reporting before. So a couple of days ago on thisiscnn.com, this article was out. And I didn't even notice this I didn't notice it right away, but why is this off center? This is left. There we go. This article was on CNN. Famous last name, business deals, and a looming probe. Republicans ramp up investigation of Biden family. Now, this could be considered a Republicans pounce article, except this is CNN, right? Now, granted, CNN has changed hands and are supposed to be a little more in the neutral middle of whatever, right? Even though the people still working there are still mostly, leftists, but they got rid of the Brian Stelters and Jim Acosta. I don't know. Is Jim Acosta still at CNN? I know they got rid of, but they kept Oliver Darcy, for example. So that's another thing. But I digress. I'll talk about Oliver Darcy in a second too. So this was on CNN. They're talking about this investigation, and they're talking about how, for years, Joe Biden has sought to assure the American public he deserves their trust. He's relied upon a go-to phrase meant to underscore his credibility, quote, "I give you my word as a Biden." But that's not the only Biden family name. That's not the only way the Biden family name has been used. The president's brothers have invoked it in their private business pursuits over the years to suggest access to power and influence, according to a CNN review of court documents, emails, and video recordings, as well as interviews with former business acquaintances. Whoa! CNN's starting to notice that they might have been using their name to get ahead in business deal, not access. Years after Biden was elected, for example, his youngest brother, Frank, boasted in a speech to medical professionals gathered in Boston. Now, this was years ago. Like, they're just now noticing this, or at least just now reporting it. To a group of medical professionals gathered in Boston, of the bully pulpit he was offered due to my brother Joey, and vowed to help attendees to get federal dollars. Using the Biden name. Just 3 months ago, Frank Biden was invited, a keynote speaker at a medical conference in Venice, Italy. This was just a few months ago, where he gave advice to a group lobbying the federal government, a trip he acknowledged he did not pay for, but declined to say who did. So people are bringing in Biden's relatives thinking they could get some favors. Biden's son Hunter, meanwhile, has bluntly acknowledged in a memoir that his last name was a coveted credential, helping him land a lucrative and controversial gig as a board member for a Ukrainian energy company when Joe Biden was vice president. The company, Burisma, considered my last name as gold. With Republicans taking charge of the House of Representatives this month, the Biden name and what it stands for are expected to be at the center of a wide-ranging oversight inquiry into alleged influence peddling and potential conflicts of interest, even as the GOP has turned its immediate attention to the Biden handling of classified documents. But they're going on and on and on how Biden relatives just seem to be able to have some family name usage that is very lucrative. Biden name been very, very good to me, et cetera, et cetera. But they're actually reporting on it. And that's what has surprised me. I mean, this is a long article, too, showing multiple connections. I'm not going to read it, but it's wild that CNN is actually reporting it. Now, I mentioned the name Oliver Darcy a second ago, right? Well, speaking of which, Brian Stelter is gone, but the Reliable Sources blog is not. Oliver Darcy is still there writing it. And he put a piece out 2 days ago about how the press secretary is getting just pilloried, right? Getting smashed up and maybe is not very good at her job. Now, this is clearly not using the Biden name, but it is the Biden White House. It starts this way. Frustration among White House reporters with press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre is reaching a boiling point. That is according to conversations I had on Wednesday with more than half a dozen White House reporters who painted a picture of a White House press corps that has grown exasperated with Jean-Pierre and does not believe she is well equipped to handle their inquiries. Well, she is the diversity hire. Anyway, the reporters who asked not to be identified in order to speak freely. Now, look, you know that Peter Darcy isn't talking to Peter Ducey. Did I say Oliver Darcy? Oliver Darcy is not speaking to Peter Ducey because I'm sure they're not friends. But so Oliver Darcy is talking to people who are Well, just very friendly, so to speak, okay? Anyway. The asked not to be identified in order to speak freely pointed to Jean-Pierre's insistence on sticking to talking points and an episode last week where key assertions she made from the podium ultimately did not hold up. She is arguably the least effective White House press secretary of the television era, one veteran White House reporter told me on Wednesday, adding that the comparison excluded the Trump White House. Ow. Hello, Sleazy, by the way. Now, that's an interesting phrase because, look, the White House reporters are, let's again say, very friendly to the White House. And if they're saying that she's not effective, that means she's not very good at pushing the talking points instead of just using them. You know what I'm saying? Because the White House Secretary Press Corps in this particular White House is not all that interested in holding the White House accountable for a lot of stuff. And so when she can't spin things right, like Jen Psaki, for all it was worth, she was a terrible person too, but at least she could spin things, okay? But Jean-Pierre seems not to be very good at it. Anyway, when asked for comment, a White House official who declined to speak on the record dismissed the complaints, telling me in a statement, "A lot of this sounds more like theater criticism than a concern about the ability to report facts for the American people's benefit." Well, that sounds like it was written by Jean-Pierre. Concerns inside the press corps with Jean-Pierre are not new. She has openly struggled to field basic questions inside the briefing rooms, relying in agonizing fashion at times on her binder of talking points to respond to simple inquiries, but the tensions has escalated in recent days as President Joe Biden is confronted with questions about his past handling of classified documents. "I think you can tell the temperature has gone up a lot in the last few days," one White House reporter remarked to me on Wednesday. In recent days, Jean-Pierre's... Well, okay, let's just stop. Let's show some examples, because this is boring reading this shit. Let's show some examples of how bad Karine Jean-Pierre is. And we have an entire thread of the day when they started asking her questions about this document issue, okay? Now, look at this. This is NBC's Peter Alexander. And we're going to just go through a few of these, and I'll leave the thread in the links below. By the way, whenever you're watching this show, I put up things on the screen that are on different links, different tweets, different videos, different articles, whatever. All of them will be in a single link in the description of this video in the second paragraph, both on Rumble and on YouTube. I will update that after the show to include everything we went through and a few things we didn't, called a one-tab link where you click the link and everything will be on a single page. So you'll be able to find any of the stuff if you want to use it for your blog or your writing or your videos or whatever you use. So easy to find, easy peasy, one link. During the outro, I'll update it. Okay, here we go. A diversity hire, not to be good at their job. Say it isn't so, dog. Yes, yes, Maddie, exactly. All right, here's this presser where she's getting pilloried and she's not doing a good job of answering questions.
Can I just follow up on that? We've all reached out to the Department of Justice. A law enforcement official tells NBC News the Justice Department has not told the White House.
She gets very testy, by the way.
Underlying the special counsel investigation into classified documents. So, trusting you've received that same information, understanding the desire to be.
She doesn't look happy, does she?
Then why can't you speak about the underlying facts?
We've been very clear when it comes to...
Oh, by the way, I would play a drinking game that every time she says the words clear, consistent, or prudent. But the only problem is if you took a shot every time she did that during a press conference, you'd be dead probably by the third reporter's questions. I'm just saying anyway.
Even underlying facts, when it comes to specifics, when it comes to something that is under the purview, that the Department of Justice is looking at, especially legal matters, investigations, we do not comment from here, Peter.
Oh,
that has been
don't.
consistent.
So
We've been
consistent?
very consistent.
Can I just follow up on that? We've all reached out to the Department of Justice.
That's clear and consistent. She's been clear and consistent. Okay, Here we go. He's following him up on that question.
We've been
That
very consistent.
Bob Bauer, who represents the president's personal attorney over the weekend, said that one of the reasons why, and Ian Sams, your colleague who speaks on behalf of the special counsel at the White House,
doesn't like this line of questioning.
spoke to this in some form yesterday. But he said one of the reasons why they shouldn't reveal further details.
Oh, no, Somnambule Nation. We are not going to drink every time she blinks, because when she's annoyed, she blinks a hell of a lot. Just saying. Maybe a tiny, tiny sip, but you'd still be drunk before the end of the press conference. All right.
Right now was regular ongoing public disclosures also pose the risk that as further information develops, answers provided on this periodic basis may be incomplete. When the White House did release a statement, the president spoke out on January 9th. The risk of incompletion was a function of the White House's decision not to share all the information it knew, in fact, because we knew on November 2nd, and the first discovery was made. We knew the second discovery was made on December 20th.
So he's not letting him get away with this.
There's a risk of incompletion, but will you concede that it's the White House that has been incomplete in its provision of information when it did choose to speak out publicly on January 9th?
My colleague actually dealt with this question on the call yesterday on the White House counsel's office.
Made the same point
as you,
risk of incompletion.
and I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
Okay. Well, she didn't say clear or any of those words. Let's see here. Let's go.
The White House having any conversations internally about finding someone, much the same way John Kirby has spoken on behalf of national security issues at this podium as your colleague, as their representative. Is there someone, is the White House in talks right now to find someone either outside the White House or internally who can speak on behalf of the White House representing the special counsel office
this time,
within the White House from this podium, or any of those talks?
I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
Okay, she's going to continue to refer people to the White House counsel's office. But this is the end. Notice this. This is not one of those, how do you feel about the fact that Republicans are so mean questions? He's asking real questions. He's asking real questions from NBC News. Let's see. What's this one?
Peter, you have spoken to my colleague who did, again, a 45-minute call with all of you answering questions about...
If you would acknowledge it's on background, that Corinne, not on the record until the call ends, that means the American people can't see it in public. So we're asking, will there be a representative who would speak on camera and see it in public?
Peter...
So she's saying they have this call where they can answer, but he wants it on the record from the White House podium. Oh, I don't have the rest of these now, but anyway, they are. It's just interesting. They're putting a lot of pressure on this White House right now, and I don't know if that's because, again, I have this feeling that they're trying to get Joe out of the paint, so to speak. So anyway, we also heard that there was no record to the visitors at Joe Biden's Delaware home. Okay, they remember there's no visitors log. Like when Trump was president, they also kept a visitors log of anyone who met with the president at Mar-a-Lago, right? They actually had a visitors log, just like they did at the White House, because he travels in a lot of different places, so they would have a visitors log wherever he went. Well, they're claiming that during the time that these documents were in the garage with the Corvette in the back room and whatnot, that they didn't keep a visitors log at his home in Delaware, even though he did in theory, did a lot of White House business when he was at home, right? Well, now they're saying that maybe there was a list. The Secret Service does have a list of regular visitors to Biden's Delaware home that stored classified documents. The Secret Service said it would provide Congress with a list of people who visited the President Joe Biden's Delaware home if the lawmakers request it. The White House counsel found classified documents from Biden's time as vice president in the House in the garage last week. The Secret Service informed the media that the agents assigned to the home do not have visitor records because, well, it's a private residence. Well, so is Mar-a-Lago. I understand why the White House doesn't have a log of visitors since it's a private residence, but I wondered why the Secret Service did not for security reasons. But now the Secret Service does have a list. Now we learn the Secret Service collects information on guests with regular access to the home. And we learn the Secret Service keeps the names of those vetted by the Secret Service And it depends on the variety of factors, including proximity to the president and the nature of the background check. Aha! Language comes into play. The Secret Service does maintain visitor logs at the private residence of protectees, said U.S. Secret Service Chief Communications Anthony Guglielmi. I guess that's how you say it. While the Secret Service does generate law enforcement and criminal justice information records for various individuals who may come into contact with Secret Service protected sites, we are not able to comment further as this speaks to the means and methods of our protective operations. That sounds about right, but they'd still have logs. A source familiar with the situation told Fox News that the Secret Service is prepared to provide available background information on vetted guests to Biden's residence if requested by Congress. So there you go. They have visitors logs, okay? A few days ago, they were reporting there were no visitors logs, but apparently there are visitors logs. And now it's just, well, there you go. I mean, now they have visitors logs. Regular visitors, not irregular visitors. Words do have meaning. Yes, correct. Hello, good morning to the one who over on Rumble. Nice to see you. Drink when she shows the top of her head equals death. Oh, true. All right, let's see. And we already saw the clip of Biden having no regrets about handling the documents, but there is an article in PJ Media also about his little pseudo presser while he's in California, which we just saw. So I'm not going to go through this one again. What do I got next here? Oh, now here's another thing that we're learning, we knew, but this is from yesterday. Apparently, the White House counsel is also refusing to acknowledge when Biden first knew about the classified documents. Now, this is interesting because we all know that these documents didn't just get here, say, a couple months ago or when Biden became president. These are documents from back when Joe Biden was the vice president of the United States. So it's got to be at least 6 years since they've been floating around somewhere and where they're not supposed to be. Well, the White House counsel refused to say when President Joe Biden was first informed about the classified documents found at the Penn Biden Center, not responding to several inquiries after insisting that it has been nothing but transparent. Biden's lawyers discovered classified documents at the think tank on November 2nd. More were found on December 20th, January 11th, and January 12th at Biden's residence. The White House counsel did not inform the public about the discoveries for over 2 months. The White House only chose to release a statement after CBS published a report. Reporters pressed the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre why the White House has said nothing. And we've been... let's see, what's this? And then, apparently, okay. Why the White House said nothing about the documents for over 2 months. Jean-Pierre said the White House counsel did not inform the press office about the documents until CBS published its January 9th report. They already knew that. Biden has not spoken to the media for a week, but he finally did again. He did yesterday about the documents, ignoring reporters' questions after admitting on January 12th that he had kept documents next to his Corvette. He was quickly walked past the press in the South Lawn in silence. Well, he did, like I said, we showed you a clip from yesterday, but he did skip them the other day. He just walked right by them. Finally had a prepared statement for when he was standing there with Gavin Newsom. So I don't even know why I brought that one up. That one's boring. But he did has complained. Oh, this is a kind of a Breitbart thing to do. So remember Joe Biden said, they found the documents in my garage. Yeah, that's where my Corvette is. Well, they found the documents in the garage. Yeah, it's locked where my Corvette is. It's a secure place where my Corvette is. That's very important to me, my Corvette. By the way, I'm not even sure if this is actually Biden's Corvette. I'm wondering if this is his wife's Corvette that she had when she was younger, because she had a Corvette too. But anyway. But so they keep talking about how his garage was secure. There's a secure location, the back room where they found more documents was a secure location. Well, apparently in Wilmington, Delaware, theft has soared 21% in 2022. This is so Breitbart just to look up something like that. President Joe Biden has claimed his garage where he stored classified documents was totally secure after theft in Wilmington, Delaware. soared by 21% in 2022, according to the city's police department. By the way, the Corvette is in a locked garage, okay? It's not like they're sitting out in the street, Joe Biden told reporters on January 12th when confronted about the stashed classified documents in his garage. So is it a locked garage? Fox Peter Ducey persisted. Yes, as well as my Corvette. Well, yeah. You need I don't know that you need a secured garage for your Corvette. Anyway, according to Wilmington Police Department, year-end 2022 data, felony theft is up 21% compared to 2019 or the last year before the pandemic. Moreover, the state of Delaware revealed in December 2022 report that that property and social offenses were at a 5-year high in Newcastle County, the entity encompassing Wilmington. So I don't know if that's important, but it certainly is a statistic that is perfect for getting that Joe Biden. All right. Yes, John Q. Is that no John Jason who? Hello, Jason who? That's a new name I haven't seen. Welcome to the show. Who says, remember how Trump would stop and answer questions for over an hour without needing to be prepped days in advance? Yes, and he didn't have notes, and he didn't have cheat sheet, and he didn't have a script. It was amazing. Jason who, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. All right, next up, what do I got next? Okay, I'm going to skip Ace. Now I just have some odds and ends we'll try to do before the end of the show. Here's one, and this is another story in Minnesota that just makes me go, wow. So a Minnesota police officer has apologized. Now, I didn't want the picture. I didn't want you to see the picture. A Minnesota police officer has apologized after some namby-pambies took offense to a thin blue line flag he posted on social media to commemorate National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. People took offense to a thin blue line flag he posted on social media. Golden Valley Police Chief Virgil Green caved to the woke and released an obsequious apology after an alleged flood of complaints questioning the meaning of the symbol. Do people not know what that flag means? It's an ode to fallen officers. But here's, oh my God. Here's what he wrote on Facebook. Hi, Kay. What's up? Nice to see you. Okay. Our social media post included an image of a thin blue line flag. While the post was intended to thank our police officers, it appears the image offended some who viewed it. For this, I sincerely apologize. What? The comment section is bursting with angry pro-police backlash. So he put a blue. Do they even know what the flag means? Here's some of the comments on Facebook. What a disgrace this so-called chief is. Joke, actually. Okay, these are the people pissed that he caved. Okay, that good. They should be mad. You caved to those who will bitch if the wind changes direction. Totally weak leadership, total disgrace. I have no words for this punk-ass chief. Wow. Some people in the backlash was against him for doing it. Hello, Jay Pylon. The chief also added a link showing the true meaning of the flag, which has been assailed as a sign of white supremacy. Wait a minute. When did that become a sign of, look, when did that become a sign of white supremacy? The blue line flag is a ode to fallen police officers. What are you talking about? Bowing to kiss the wing of the woke is never the answer, yet this isn't the first time the cops have caved. The Los Angeles Police Department removed a thin blue line flag from publicly accessible areas in their headquarters after one person complained that the flags have something to do with the Proud Boys. Oh my God. Anyway. Oh, Maddie, by the way, thank you for dropping another link in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Maddie said, oh, we need music. It's Funky Friday. All things. Get music. Thank you, Maddie, for dropping a link into the tip jar who says, a press secretary is supposed to be able to handle the press. That is their job. Latrine couldn't handle a football if you coated her hands with Stick'em First. She's far more incapable than Saki. Okay, she didn't say Latrine. She said Kareen. I embellished on that one. Thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. All right, stop the music. Thank you very much. So anyway, guess what the woke commies are coming for next? Check this out. Oh, here you go. Here's a wait, what? World Christians, stop it with the persecution complex. Your rights will never be taken from you. Oh, this is that guy that got kicked out of the Mall of America for having the Jesus Saves shirt. Okay, so anyway, yeah. So anyway, he took it down because people complained. How about just putting an elaborate explanation of what the thin blue line flag means? Because it has nothing to do with white supremacy. It literally is an ode to fallen people, officers who died in the line of duty. Now, speaking of right-wing nut jobs, apparently Tony Dungy, the famous football coach and Hall of Fame guy, is now considered to be a right-wing zealot. This article in Newsweek. Now, you know who Tony Dungy is, right? He's a commentator on, I think, NBC Sports, former coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Hall of Fame player, played for the Minnesota Vikings. This guy's the nicest guy on the friggin' planet. And they put an article in Newsweek, of all places. Newsweek, which is now only online because it got sold for $1 several years ago. Tony Dungy is a right-wing zealot, and the NFL and NBC don't care. Hall of Fame coach is held up as the epitome of character, but Tony Dungy has used his devoutness as a cover for anti-gay bigotry. Tony Dungy. I gotta tell you, Tony Dungy is the nicest person on the planet. He's just a nice man. Okay, I'm just telling you. Trust me. I've covered the March for Life in Washington, D.C. for years. It's a madhouse of right-wing gadflies, disinformation addicts, QAnon adherents, and most disturbingly, class after class of teenage and tweenage children dragged there by teachers who abuse their authority in ways that would make Ron DeSantis smirk. He only outlaws the speech of some teachers. This is probably someone who endorses like all age drag shows. But anyway, this year's march on January 20th, however, has a first-time participant who is trumpeting a giddy excitement over the forthcoming festivities. His name is Tony Dungy, a retired Hall of Fame coach, co-host of the top-rated NBC show Football in America, and someone venerated throughout the NFL. The NFL world as a man of character. Well, Dungy is certainly taking his reputation for a test drive, and it's hardly the first time. Dungy has spent years as an anti-gay bigot, while the NFL and NBC barely blink. He speaks at conferences whose organizers are violently homophobic. Now, okay, that's interesting, using the word violently. Can you give me an example of violence committed by those organizers? Because when you say violently, that means something. He said publicly and proudly that he would not want gay football player Michael Sam on his team, because Michael Sam wasn't a very good player. I don't know if he said because he was gay. He said over a decade ago that he disagreed with the lifestyle of Jason Collins, the first out active male gay player in the four major North American sports. This is a Dungy staple, calling being LGBT a lifestyle, even after people have said to him repeatedly how hurtful and outdated such a description is. Well, and he simply doesn't care. People should read the 2-part series on Outsports about Dungy's history of homophobia. Is this really an article worthy of Newsweek? I could see this being in Pink or, whatever other outlets that do news about gay people, but why is this in Newsweek? The latest Dungy move where again, he's going to a March for Life, which has nothing to do with whatever. Oh no, this is the Nation. No wonder. I'm like, why would this be in Newsweek? This is the Nation. I looked at the wrong headline. This is archived, by the way. So this explains why this is written this way. The latest Dungy move where he sounded like a talk radio caller or Supreme Court Justice Sam Alito was earlier this week when he took to Twitter to object to a new law providing tampons in bathrooms of public schools in the Twin Cities. It's maybe because they want to put tampons in the boys' bathrooms too, because that crazy legislator we talked about yesterday saying, well, it's not only females who have periods. Yeah, that's a biological fact. Now some of these females may pretend or think they're not female gender or whatever, but they're still females. Sex, not gender. Sex is what anyway. So this, of course, is none of Dungy's non-menstruating business, but he felt the need to sound off by writing a response to the hard right wing's Daily Wire. At people having anger at people having periods by taking it to another level, writing, quote, "That's nothing. Some school districts are putting litter boxes in school bathrooms for a student that identifies as cats. Very important to address the student needs." Now that, obviously, that was not a fact. The cat box part was it. The part about kids identifying as other entities was not false. Just the whole cat box thing. They're not doing that. Anyway, this widely debunked lie used by the far right to argue that LGBTQ kids, and especially trans kids, have been coddled and abused to the point where they don't even identify as their own species. Now, remember, only the cat box part of that story was false. It's a lie that Dungy happily touted only when countless people explained to Dungy that he was spreading violently harmful disinformation. Okay, again, they love to use the word violent. They love to use the word violent because they want things that are not violence. They want to call violence because it has a higher impact. Violently harmful disinformation, or maybe after he received a call from NBC, did Dungy delete the tweet. He did so without apology or explanation. He did so with minimal courage. Well, I'm sure that everyone immediately apologized when they delete a tweet. I see this all the time. Left-wingers do it all the time. They just silently delete a tweet. Now, if you want to call them out on that, which you are here, that's your prerogative, but whatever. This is a staggering indictment of the politics the NFL and the network's partners allow and the kind that they condemn. So this person wants Tony Dungy out of a job because of opinions. That's what this is about. And it's just like the hockey player in Philadelphia. They want him fired and not to be able to be part of sports, which, you know what? Look, if Tony Dungy was doing this on his NBC program, the whatever the show's called, I don't know what it's called, Football America or whatever, then you can maybe have a case for why that's probably not appropriate for that program. But if Tony Dungy's out there living his own life and you want him to not have a job because of things he says and does in his own life, I think I have two words. Kiss my ass. Anyway, so it goes on and on about why Tony Dungy is a terrible person and shouldn't be able to live because, well, he has a different opinion on life and the world than you. And David, if you're watching, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm losing my mind. Let's see. Oh, this is back when this gal I think she was running for Congress or something. Maybe this happened afterwards. Anyway, a former GOP congressional candidate Jennifer Ruth Green says she feels vindicated yet frustrated after the Air Force admitted in a letter sent to her Wednesday that her military personnel records, the source of a pre-election Politico story that documented details about her sexual assault during her service in the branch, was released to a third party without proper redaction. Hey, TC, what's happening? Speaking by phone to Fox News Digital about the letter of admission, which Green received from Acting Compliance Division Chief William J. Alexander Jr., the Indiana Republican who challenged Democratic Representative Frank Mervyn to represent Indiana's 1st Congressional District last November, lamented the failures of those in the media who worked to be a part of the Democratic smear machine. So she, so during her campaign, the Air Force either leaked or provided her service records to some outlet who proceeded to print a story about her sexual assault when she was in the military, which is clearly and very private information. It's not public information. It's the military. And so they had this basically a smear campaign to get this lady. I don't think she won her seat, but anyway. And so she was complaining, and the Air Force denied it. Well, now they've written a letter to her saying that, oh, yes, we did do this, and we apologize. So she's saying, it happened exactly how I said it happened. My documents were obtained not through a FOIA request like Politico falsely claimed. Politico's lawyers knew better, that they knew these documents couldn't be obtained through FOIA, and they worked to be a part of the Democratic smear machine. They lied to cover their tracks, she continued, following the October 2022 story from Politico. Indiana GOP reps Jim Banks and Larry Bouchon spoke with Air Force Inspector General Lieutenant General Stephen Davis about the release of Green's records. At the time, the congressman, as well as the Air Force, noted the matter was still under investigation. In this case, we reviewed our process on the release of Department of Air Force records to the public to determine whether the release of the OPR was made by DAF, the LMNOP, personnel through the Freedom of Information Act process or other official processes, such as through public affairs. Alexander wrote in a Wednesday letter to Green, we found that your information was released by the Air Force Personnel Center to a third party due diligence, a private company specializing in public record search, without your consent via SF-180. That's the form request. So they're admitting that someone gave it to them through the incorrect means. So it'll be interesting. Let's see. Last year, profile Green's character and candidacy in the contentious Indiana congressional race. Politico used the personnel records, which the outlet claimed were obtained by a public record request and provided to Politico by a person outside Mervyn's campaign, to report on an Iraqi serviceman sexually assaulted Green by grabbing her breast and exposing themselves when she and a small group of officers visited a national training center. And the Democrat. Now, this is the other part. No, she wasn't accused. She was the victim, but they still, she did not want this information out because, she was talking about her service. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee closely coordinated with Congressman Mervyn's campaign, and they ran over $1 million in coordinated ads, she added. So the idea that Congressman Mervyn and his cronies were not involved in obtaining my records, and the DCCC working independently to leak my records without Mervyn's campaign's knowledge, is disingenuous and laughable. Basically, they were trying to embarrass her. And but now the Air Force has admitted how they sent out the records. And it was a pretty big controversy at the time. I remember it, but you probably don't. You may not. So, all right. Let me get through some odds and ends. I got to get out of here. Let's see what I have. Oh, we have a video. Now, this person, this is kind of a without comment. This is a report. Well, I think it's self-explanatory. Let me just play the clip. It's only 33 seconds.
28-year-old Bridget Klein Simpson has identified as a woman for years, and she wants to get into better shape, so she went to the Bodyworks gym for women in Parksville for a membership. Klein Simpson says she was initially welcomed, but after one workout she was informed she was not allowed at the women's only gym.
Saying, sorry, we made a mistake, you're not actually allowed to be here, but you're more than welcome to use the co-ed facility. And I kind of just hung up because I was extreme devastated. I mean, there's really no other word for it.
Um, um, how about we just move on? Just, there's nothing that I can say that I don't think I need to say anything, do I? Oh, this. Speaking of some dumb shit, let's find her. This might be the dumbest criminal on the planet, and it's kind of a gross thing. Here's a criminal that really doesn't understand how to criminal. This is Brian Walsh's shocking Google searches after his wife went missing. Is there music on this? Okay, so this guy, his wife went missing, right? And so the FBI checked out his Google searches. Thin blue line. Oh, thank you, the one who. Thin blue line flag. To be the devil's advocate, there is a law called the flag code. It is not lawful to alter our flag and then wear it. It's about respect to our flag and makes it illegal for to alter it. No, I am very aware of that. And I don't think did they say he was wearing it? Oh, they put it on the website. I know, and I've always wondered about that flag, so it's very interesting. All right. Anyway, so this guy, his wife went missing, and here are his Google searches in the day that he announced that his wife went missing. At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched, how long before a body starts to smell?
5 a.m. on January 1st, he searched, how long before a body starts to smell? At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body.
How does a body stop from decomposing?
At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to bound a body.
How to bound a body.
At 5:47 a.m.,
10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to.
At 6:25 a.m. on the 1st.
These are his Google searches after his wife went missing.
At 6:34 a.m. on the 1st.
Can you throw away body parts?
At 9:29 a.m., what does formaldehyde do?
What does formaldehyde do?
At 9:34 a.m. on the 1st, how long does DNA last?
Oh my God.
At 9:59 a.m., can identification be made on partial remains?
There's more. Wait.
At 11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. At 11:44, how to clean blood from wooden floor. At 11:56 on the 1st, luminol to detect blood. At 1:08, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia. At 1:21 p.m., is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them?
So, those were all within 12 hours of him reporting his wife missing. Well, I guess it's going to be a problem. All right. The other last things in the tabs I'm not going to get to. Maybe Monday or sometime in between then and now. We have apparently in Florida, there is the state of Florida, Florida rejects proposed advanced placement African American Studies course. So this is the USA Today, saying it lacks educational value, right? Proposed high school advanced placement course on African American Studies has been rejected by the state of Florida in a letter that calls the course inexplicably contrary to Florida law. The January 12th letter sent from the Florida Department of Education Office articulation to the College Board, the organization that administers SAT and PSAT and other standardized tests, also says the course significantly lacks educational value, but does not articulate its objection. So this is being pushed at Ron DeSantis, obviously. The problem is, because it's a advanced placement African American Studies course, the name of the course, okay, immediately there's cries of racism. But there is some interesting things about it that are, why does this have value? And according to Florida law too. So let's see, Florida Department course featured tenets of critical race theory and a section on queer theory, according to the syllabus obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation. Governor DeSantis has stated our classrooms will be a place for education, not indoctrination. So if you want to check it out, there's I believe, and I have 3 stories on it, and I have a copy of the syllabus. Oh, that's not the syllabus. I think it's linked in this article. If you want to, here's prohibited teachings that Florida says you can't do. Members of one race, color, national origin, or sex are morally superior to members of another race, color, sex, or national origin or sex. You can't teach that one race is better than another, or national origin or sex, whatever. 2, you cannot teach that a person, by virtue of his race, color, national origin, or sex, is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously. You cannot teach that a person's moral character or status as either privileged or oppressed is necessarily determined by his or her race, color, national origin, or sex. You cannot teach that members of one race, color, national origin, or sex cannot and should not attempt to treat others without respect to race, color, national origin, or sex. This is also prohibited. A person by virtue of his race, color, national origin, or sex bears responsibility for or should be discriminated against or receive adverse treatment because of actions committed in the past by other members of the same race, color, national origin, or sex. You cannot teach that a person by virtue of his or her race, color, national origin, or sex should be discriminated against and receive adverse treatment to achieve diversity, equity, or inclusion. You cannot teach that a person by virtue of his or her race, color, sex, or national origin bears personal responsibility for and must feel guilt, anguish, or other forms of psychological distress because of actions in which the person played no part committed in the past by other members of the same race, color, national origin, or sex. And finally, you cannot teach such virtues as merit, excellent, hard work, fairness, neutrality, objectivity, and racial colorblindness are racist or sexist or were created by members of a particular race, color, national origin, or sex to oppress members of another race, color, national origin, or sex. So the syllabus is linked in here. You can, in fact, I think you can download it in this article if you want to read this, but I just didn't have time to get to it today. Also, thank you, Guns Fox 61, dropping another big bullet tip jar. What have we here? Oh, no. Greta Thunberg says it's completely ridiculous to let the UAE oil chief lead COP28. Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg on Thursday knocked the United Arab Emirates' completely ridiculous appointment of a state-run oil company chief to lead the United Nations climate talks in Dubai at the end of this year. Lobbyists have been influencing these conferences since forever, and this just puts a clear face on it. It's completely ridiculous, Thunberg said on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos. Climate activists, including Thunberg, have critiqued the choice of Sultan Ahmed Al Jaber, whatever, the head of the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, to helm the COP28 climate talks at the end of the year. Now, look, if I were a climate activist, I would have both eyebrows raised at that. It is kind of interesting that a person who's head of the UAE's oil production is the person talking about climate change, if you really think climate change is a crisis. Now, that is, very question up in the air with many people. But now John Kerry, the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, said earlier in the week that he backs Al Jaber as the COP28 host, calling the UAE's pick a terrific choice and highlighting that Al Jaber has been involved in a number of renewable energy projects. Well, there you go. But Thunberg, possibly the most intelligent young person on the planet, doesn't like the choice. And on that note, I got to call it a day because I'm already out of time. But all of you peoples here and over, whether you are on Rumble or YouTube, I got to thank you all. Now, reminder, sponsor the show by hitting the like button, hitting the share button, sharing this out even after the stream. If you're right here watching on a replay, put a comment in the comment section. And you can always sponsor the show 24 hours a day at pdognight.live. It's the Streamlabs donation link. During the show, you can also do it on YouTube and also 24 hours a day, Venmo, Cash App. Those are up to you if you want to sponsor the show. Also, I highly recommend that you check out the locals page and follow me there. This is the locals page. Let's go full screen. Sorry about that. You can at least follow me on locals so that you can get notifications should I not be on YouTube's for whatever reason one day. And if you'd like to be a supporter, this is my version of Patreon. I'm using this instead of Patreon. If you want to just make a regular donation, that would be great. It helps everything. A little bit helps. And then finally, we are on a countdown to episode 1000 for this show. And that's in 3 weeks. We're going to do this regardless of the actual 1000th show. We're going to celebrate it on Friday, February 10th. I'm going to have a whole bunch of people drop it in that day. Lots of people who've been guests here before. Probably do a longer show. Maybe I thought about doing a 1,000-minute show. I'm not doing 16 hours of streaming. Sorry, guys, but it'll probably be a good 3 or 4 hour show. We're gonna have a whole bunch of people pop in and pop out. So please kind of gear up for that. Here's my goal. I'm going to remind you, my goal for that show is to have 1,000 people, at least 1,000 people watching it. And I got a lot of people who are going to help me with that. I would appreciate if you guys would help me with that. It would be great if we get 1,000 people watching the show that day. And we still want to try to get to 10,000 subs. We may not do it by then. Or 1,000 subs on Rumble. That would be great too. We're actually, Rumble's growing at a higher percentage rate than YouTube, but I'm up over 1,700 subs here on YouTube too, which is great. It was 2 weeks ago, I was at 1,400, so 300 in the last couple weeks is pretty darn good. A lot of them came over when Rakita was here. Got a few when Hard Bastard here. Oh, I forgot, and I have a guest coming. Shoe for Converse, the person who ran in the 5th district, wanted to run against Ilhan Omar. She ended up dropping out of the campaign, but she's going to be here on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're going to have one of the founders of Moms for Liberty, Tiffany Justice, is going to be here. So Tuesday and Wednesday, we have guests. I'm trying to fill the entire week with guests next week. But check out both those shows. Shoe's going to talk about, first of all, running in the 5th district against Ilhan Omar, and there was a couple of Republican candidates that were in the primary that she had to drop out of the primary, but she wants to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what's happening in the school systems here as far as the indoctrination. We're going to talk about her military service. She was in, I think, the United States Army, and just about just issues that being a conservative Republican of the Muslim faith. And I'm curious about that too. So that'll be interesting. And then with Tiffany, we're going to talk about, again, definitely about schools, definitely about the LGBTQ indoctrination in schools and other things that parents are dealing with in today's schools that I didn't have to deal with. Thank God. But they're dealing with it now, and it's a very important subject. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll have great guests, hopefully a few more. That's it for today, folks. Gotta go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.